Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, literally game-changing shift in global sports. We're talking about the completely redesigned mathematical structure of the 2026 World Cup. We're diving straight into the official source material to see exactly how this hugely expanded tournament is engineered to unfold. This isn't just some minor scheduling tweak. It's a fundamental rewrite of the tournament's DNA. It alters everything, from qualification strategies to the sheer physical endurance it's going to take to actually lift that trophy. Okay, let's dive into this. Right out of the gate, the source material frames the expansion with a very clear mandate: more matches, more countries, and more unforgettable football moments. But to really get what that means, we've got to look past the marketing slogan and recognize the structural reality it creates. Expanding the horizon of the tournament hardwires a lot more action into the schedule, largely because the event spans three host nations: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This massive geographic footprint requires a format that can accommodate more venues, more broadcast slots, and a much wider array of global talent than we've ever seen before. So we're going to look at the exact numbers that make this whole new level of global integration possible. Section 1. The biggest tournament ever. 48. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is going to feature an absolutely unprecedented 48 teams. Jumping from the traditional 32-team format up to a 48-team roster completely reshapes the global football landscape. Historically, breaking into the tournament has been this mathematically tight bottleneck, especially for confederations in Africa and Asia. By adding 16 new slots, the tournament opens the door for a whole wave of emerging football nations to secure a spot on the grandest stage. Logistically, coordinating base camps, training facilities, and travel schedules for 48 distinct national squads across North America is a staggering undertaking. Structurally, this specific expansion number is the foundational data point. It dictates literally every subsequent phase of the competition. 12. To organize those 48 teams fairly and keep the competitive integrity intact, the field is cleanly divided into 12 groups. Now, this is a huge departure from the 8-group system fans have grown so accustomed to over the last couple of decades. Distributing the talent pool across 12 separate pods means we're going to see a much wider variety of play styles clashing right from the start. It also ensures a balanced distribution of top-seeded nations, spreading the heavyweights across a broader initial framework rather than, bunching them all together. This setup establishes a really digestible opening phase where the journey to the ultimate prize begins, setting the stage for a completely different kind of group stage dynamic. Section 2. The group stage math. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the mechanics actually play out. So, each of those 12 groups contains exactly 4 teams, and every single squad is guaranteed to play exactly 3 group stage matches. While the basic idea of a 14 group is super familiar to anyone who follows the sport, the implications change dramatically when you scale the whole shebang up to 12 groups. With a larger field, the margin for error is still incredibly thin, but the strategic value of every single goal scored, or conceded for that matter, is completely magnified. Teams can't just rely purely on the math of a traditional, localized group anymore. They have to maximize their points and their goal difference right out of the gate, knowing their performance in these 3 matches isn't just being weighed against the other 3 teams on the pitch with them, but potentially against teams in completely different regions of the bracket. Section 3. Surviving the cut. Let's talk about the literal journey a team has to take to make it out alive. So how do you mathematically advance? Well, finishing as one of the top 2 teams in your group is still the only way to completely control your own destiny. But the secondary lifeline is where the structure gets incredibly tense. The 8 best third-place teams across all 12 groups also qualify. Comparing third-place teams across 12 independent groups creates a really unique logistical and competitive challenge. You are effectively competing against nations you haven't even played, who are facing entirely different strength of schedule dynamics. Just imagine the sheer nail-biting stress of being a third-place team here. You've played your 3 matches, your group is done, but you might have to sit in your hotel room for 2 days, frantically refreshing goal differentials on your phone, agonizingly waiting to see if your stats hold up against a team playing 1,000 miles away. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how many teams survive the cut to make it to the knockout rounds. Out of our massive starting lineup of 48 teams, exactly 32 teams move on, while 16 teams are mathematically eliminated. This introduces one of the most massive structural changes to the sport, a brand new round of 32. Previously, surviving the group stage meant jumping straight into the final 16. Now, exactly 2/3 of the field will survive the initial cut, but they immediately face an entirely new tier added to the tournament tree. That extra layer fundamentally changes the calculus for managers who are just trying to pace their squads through a really grueling summer schedule. Section 4. The Knockout Gauntlet. This is where we leave the calculated math behind and enter pure, high-stakes drama. Win in advance, lose, and you're out. It is absolutely ruthless. With 32 teams advancing, the eventual champion now has to survive an extra knockout match compared to previous tournaments. This transforms an already grueling 7-game path to glory into an exhausting 8-game gauntlet. We are talking about a significant increase in the physical and mental toll required to lift that trophy. An extra high-stakes knockout game completely alters a team's approach to squad rotation, training periodization, yellow card accumulation, you name it. Surviving this newly expanded format requires unprecedented squad depth. It's no longer just about having a brilliant starting 11. A nation's bench depth is going to be tested against the sheer fatigue of travel, high-pressure environments, and an extended, unforgiving schedule where literally one unlucky bounce sends you packing. So with a massive 48-team gauntlet perfectly funneling down to a single champion, who do you think will survive the cut, navigate the extended knockout rounds, and ultimately lift the trophy? Think about how this grueling new format and that extra round of 32 changes the endurance odds for your favorite squad. Seriously, I want to know. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep your eyes peeled for those unforgettable moments.